Hey guys, what's going on? It's Warpath 2 or Adam bringing you another Money in the Dank gameplay. Man, I've got to say, I really do enjoy this game. It's such a fun time to play it. Way better than anything that's been played in Modern Warfare 3 recently. Which kind of brings me to our topic of today's video. I want to discuss the legacy of Modern Warfare 3. So what I mean by the legacy of Modern Warfare 3 is really just kind of comparing to how it's going to stand against the next big game, whether that's Black Ops 2 or maybe that's a couple years from now when Activision gets their opportunity to make another Call of Duty game. What I did for this is I made a list, pros and cons list, which I know such a cheesy way to kind of decide how something ends, but I think it honestly in this case is going to be the best option. So let's dive right in. Let's talk about the pros of this list. So the first really big pro I have on my list here is gun selection. I know a lot of people are kind of upset because there's a lot of overpowered guns in this game. There kind of always has been. But there was also an effort to kind of balance those by adding more overpowered guns. The reason I bring this up as a pro is comparing it to Black Ops. I really used one of only about four guns: the FAMAS, the AUG, the AK-47, and the MP5K. Aside from that, I really didn't have a fun time using any other guns because they all seem to be so underpowered compared to what everyone else used. Whereas in this game, I feel confident with the P90, the P90M1, the MP7, the MP5, the Type 95, the ACR, the MK14. I mean, the list literally goes on. There's almost a gun in every category that I feel comfortable using and can generally get a pretty good gameplay out of. Another thing I really think they got right in this game was the initial map layout and variety. The maps weren't all just kind of set as one kind of long strip map or square map or circular map. They were very much set in different styles, and I really kind of enjoyed that for a long time. It was really well done in the game. I think most maps were implemented. Some were worse than others. There's always that factor. But there's a couple of really good maps that were just built into the game. Mission is a good example. It's a highly balanced map that plays really well. And then you have another map like Village, which isn't that great in my opinion. It's very unbalanced depending on where you spawn. Another thing I really liked that Modern Warfare 3 did was the way the perk tiers were balanced. They did a much better job, in my opinion, than some of the other previous Call of Duty games, and that they made you make kind of tougher decisions. There was some overpowered combinations like Assassin Pro and Dead Silence that made you harder to notice or kill. But really, you had to choose between things like Extreme Conditioning, Recon, which turned out to be a very valuable perk, Sleight of Hand Pro, things like that. It was very balanced in that aspect. There always is going to be some level of overpowered, but it was something that seemed to flow a little bit better in my opinion. The final good thing I think that Modern Warfare 3 really accomplished was the variety of game modes. When it launched, it really didn't have anything unique except Kill Confirmed, which is a really interesting take on TDM. But after that, the community playlist really kind of took over with the majority of what people were playing. I remember when Drop Zone launched, it was a very good game mode. It was solid. It had a lot of kind of fun features to it, and the idea that you didn't get kill streaks, but instead you had to get them from care packages was pretty cool. It was a really fun game mode, my personal favorite until teams really started kind of taking over. It's just got way too easy to lose the game at that point if you were playing with randoms. There's also Infected, which everybody knows is kind of the easy Moab game mode that was around for a while. That's really kind of died off now. Then you have All or Nothing in the FFA gunplay options. Those were really fun for a short period of time. And now you have Money in the Dank, which is a kind of a good swan song for what's going on here. There was also the face-off maps. I don't think they took off as well as they had hoped. There's just not that level of teamwork in most people's Modern Warfare 3 games. I did play them. They were fun in the ones I played. But for the most part, it didn't excite me the way that some of these other community playlist options did. Alright, so let's move on to the cons of Modern Warfare 3, because I know that's what everybody has the strongest opinions about. First of all, I think the biggest issue was DLC. it just wasn't compelling enough. There was a lot of spec ops missions and a lot of multiplayer maps, but as a multiplayer player in the game, I really didn't care for the spec ops missions. I know that's something that Modern Warfare has kind of brought along, but I just have no interest in it. I just wanted the maps. I wish there would have been a way, instead of paying $15 for 2 maps and 2 spec ops missions that I would never play, to just get the maps for a little bit cheaper. I think it would have been a better move on their part. Another thing I think that Modern Warfare 3 really failed on was execution of concepts. About 4 or 5 months ago, Infinity Ward released a list of a bunch of different things they wanted to do to change the game. Things like working on the spawns, the lag compensation, better matchmaking. They talked about leaderboards in the community playlist, and giving some love to some of the other guns that really didn't have a lot of playability. None of these things really happened. They gave some gun buffs, but they weren't very noticeable. There was never any leaderboard changes. There was never anything done about the spawns, as we all know. Lag compensation, it got better over time, but it's still a bad thing to have. I just think it really hurt them more to even put this out there when they weren't really committed to making these changes. It's something that put a more sour taste into people's mouth than there already was when the game was really in its heyday. Alright, so the final con here is going to be the spawns. We all know it's a bad thing. We've all had our issues with the spawns. They still continue to be a problem today. Only, in my opinion, I don't think they were really a problem for Infinity Ward. And it's not because they didn't care about it. I think they just intended the spawns to work this way. A lot of the pre-release interviews talked about how fast the gameplay would be, how they wanted to keep you engaged in the action. And I think this is their way of doing it. They didn't want to necessarily just make all the maps small, but they wanted to get you to where you need to go quickly. So there was way randomized spawn points, and things just didn't gel as well as they needed to for the game. It was just a failure all around, and all the cries to fix it were never answered. And I think it truly was because they intended the spawns to play that way. So my final assessment of this game is going to be that the legacy left by Modern Warfare 3 is going to be a game that should have been great on paper, but failed to deliver once executed and continued to disappoint people for the life of the game. I personally stopped playing this game about 3 or 4 months ago. The times I've played it since then, I've been very frustrated up until Money in the Bank has come out. It's been a really fun game mode and gave me a reason to play this game. But I truly do not like playing this game. I don't have fun the way I used to, the way I had in Black Ops even. So I think that's going to mar the overall legacy of this game. Hopefully, one day when we look back on it, it will not be the worst game ever made, because it did have a lot of really good concepts and good ideas that I think need to be carried over. But I just have a feeling that sometime down the line, when you look back at the collective Modern Warfare or Call of Duty games, this is going to rank pretty high on the list of bad games. Alright guys, well that's going to wrap things up for today. I really hope you enjoyed the commentary on the legacy of Modern Warfare 3. If you think I'm way off base on something, or you want to add something to the pros and cons list, tell me in the comments below. I'd love to see your opinion about it. Or you can always hit me up on Twitter at twitter.com/Adam7986. Thanks again, guys. You have a great day, and happy gaming.